ladies and gents, if you take a look here, this is the Federal Housing Act. That's what it's called. Oh, no, no, this is the National Housing Act. See, National Housing Act and RSA, Revised Statutes of Canada. Okay, this is Canada. Notice what Canada does that the United States does likewise. Notice what it does, what its regulation. Housing loan, insurance, guarantee, and protection regulations. It's the same program in Canada as it is here in the United States. Okay? And all I did was type in National Housing Act because I'm doing research on a particular property where we're getting ready to file a particular complaint, and I'm needing to add that information in. So revised statutes for Canada. List insurance, the same as yours does. Now let's do this. Let's do something. Since we're just doing National Housing Act for now. Let's do mandatory. Gotta do. Well, we click here. Okay, mandatory insurance. Okay, State Farm. Who cares about State Farm? We said National Housing Act mandatory insurance. So we got FHA mortgage insurance. Oh, by putting down less than 20%, the FHA mortgage insurance. See, that's why you are supposed to be paying for the insurance, because you put down only a certain percentage. Okay, now the National Housing Act and Protection for Residential Mortgages, or whoever, Insurance Act. Wait a minute. Gotta look this up, y'all, because I never heard of it. Hypothecary. That don't sound like a word, does it? But you know that they invented it, they created it. So let's do this. Let's search for it. Let's see what it gives us. Then I'm going to go back and finish Protection of Residential Mortgage, or Hypothecary Insurance Act. And where is it from? Interesting, ladies and gentlemen. This is the actual code. Hey, why don't some of you do the research on this and find out exactly how this applies now? Okay, because this is 6/26/2011. And we know that it is considered insurance. Well, let's look at the act will be cited as Protection of Residential Mortgage, or Hypothecary Insurance Act. I told you it's a made-up word. They just decided they wanted to make up something. Oh no, we can't use this one. See, this says Canada again, so we can't use this. And it even talks about Her Majesty, so that one won't work. But that's why I never heard of it. And we did National Housing Act. The reason why it's coming up, because we did the National Housing Act. And because we did National Housing Act, Canada has a National Housing Act, the same as the US has a National Housing Act. So that's the problem. Government guarantee legislation, it's all Canada. I don't want Canada. Let's do this. US. See if it gives me what I'm looking for. Nope, it's still. Oh, that's okay, because I looked up that. Okay, that's the problem. So we can't use that. I forgot I looked up that particular word because I saw it. So we can't use that one because that's Canada. No wonder it kept coming up as Canada. But again, I'll say it again so that you all get it. We want to deal with the mandatory insurance. Let's do this. Let's do the mandatory insurance clause. We have 12 USC 1709. Insurance of mortgages, notwithstanding this paragraph, or notwithstanding any other provision of this paragraph, the amount in which a mortgage insured under this section shall be executed by a mortgager, and shall Federal Housing Administration submitted section this way. Failure to act if the Secretary fails to issue guidelines required under the National Housing Act and Protection of Residential Mortgages. This is the mandatory insurance, but this is not for us. This is for Canada, but this is for us. Here, 12 USC Code 1709, it talks about insurances. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm trying to get you to do. Now, you notice this says property insurance? Nobody's talking about property insurance. We are talking about mortgage insurance. Now, I want to get all of you out of the habit of saying mortgage default insurance. I want you to be in the habit of saying mortgage insurance, because that's what it's called in your deed of trust. That's what it's called in the National Housing Act. Okay, now, statutory provision does not remove the availability of HHA insurance for use in blah, blah, blah. Okay? Insurance is what we're doing here. We're talking about the fact that they must have insurance. Requirements for single family mortgage instruments. This is the one I want. This is the one I'm interested in, because all of your mortgages are single family mortgages. Okay? Every single one of them, because they all have a HUD-1 form. And if you look at the bottom of your mortgage forms, one of them are going to say these words right here. Single family, whether it's going to be Fannie Mae, Ginnie Mae, Sallie Mae, it's going to say single mortgage. They're going to use the single mortgage form. That lets you know that your home is under the single family form. That means that that home is insured. This is to inform mortgagees that HUD is discontinuing the practice of printing or distributing single-family mortgage forms and will no longer approve the text for forms for individual states. Why are they discontinuing that? Interesting, huh? Let's see. I'm looking for the insurance part that we saw on the other page. Oh, look at that. In Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, mandatory date is extended to 1990. And you notice all your forms are on the approved form, the HUD approved form. And all of you to know to make sure, and HUD field offices will not knowingly issue mortgage insurance certificates for cases using newly developed forms if the mortgage instrument does not conform to these newly requirements. So they issue mortgage insurance certificates. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we need. HUD-approved mortgagees who purchase an insured loan, means the banks, will not have to renew the mortgage instrument to determine whether the contract of insurance will remain in effect. Of course, the insurance claim process ordinarily requires that the mortgage instrument be drafted so that it is legally enforceable, or the contract of insurance does not insure against lack of enforceability. Ladies and gentlemen, their insurance does not cover them if the contract is unenforceable. And in most cases, the contract is unenforceable. You guys, this is where you need to be doing your research. This shows you that every home, especially if it's a HUD loan, if it's FHA, and HUD is FHA, they're all insured. Single family applies to non-judiciary and judicial states. So non-judicial and judicial are covered by single family. Single family, multifamily. This covers both. So this is for those of you who are paying attention. This has been a known fact, and pay attention. I told you in 1981 or about 1983, between that time, Reagan got on television and talked about how they were going to insure all homes. And we noticed this is the very same decade that all that was being discussed on television. And here we have it. And if you didn't see it, I'm going to point it out to you one more again. But you need to pay attention. Borrower agrees that should this security instrument or note secured thereby not be eligible for insurance under the National Housing Act within blah 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 date of lender may at its own option or notwithstanding anything in paragraph number 9 require immediate payment in full of all sums secured in this security agreement. A written statement. This is for the deed of trust. Look at that. It says mortgage deed of trust. It says they're but not required. They're authorized but not required to add this paragraph. All of the homes are insured, ladies and gentlemen. not required to add this paragraph, but it lets you know that the home is insured. This is your proof that your home has insurance when you look at the deed of trust where it says in number 10 about the mortgage insurance. That's why they say they can add this to paragraph, well, notwithstanding anything in paragraph 9, this is the stuff that goes in number 10. When it talks about mortgage insurance, and all lenders require the borrower to have mortgage insurance because the federal government requires mortgage insurance to be on all homes financed by the federal government. So all homes are insured. The lender's failure to remit a mortgage insurance premium to the secretary. Please understand that. That's part of your payment, your monthly payment. From the date thereof, decline to insure this security instrument and the note secured thereby. Okay? It insures both the note and the deed of trust. So I'm just doing this, and remember, I wasn't planning on showing this to you, but now I can prove to you that the note is insured. Okay? Matter of fact, this is going in my complaint because we've been bringing up the fact that the note is insured. Okay? That's what we've been arguing. And so he's the Secretary of Housing, the General Deputy Assistant. So now I have just proven to all of you by doing just a simple little bit of research that the mortgage is insured. All of your mortgages are insured. Now, do me a favor. Munchkins, I need you guys to do some research. I've shown you where to go. Go do yourself some research. And you saw how I had to look for it. So go do yourself some research. Okay? I need a list of all the different National Housing Acts. So I need National Housing Act 1933, 1934, 1939, 1949, 2009, 1989. I need all of those housing acts. And I don't see the list, and that's going to bother me. But anyway, while I'm looking for that, I'm going to see. Here's a list, but I don't see what I'm looking for. See, we have these three. You know what? That might work for me. That might work for me. I can do that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gents, I've done my job. Let's see you do yours. Do your research, people. Do your research. If your home is insured, that means file the insurance. Find a way. Make them file the insurance. If not, take them to court. Get a court order for them to file the insurance. You feel me? Now I feel you. Now get off my phone. Get off my computer. Get off my mic.